Do you think, just by looking at the past 4 years, maybe a little more than that, do you think that our current governor, Andy Beshear, has a true shot at becoming the next president?
He certainly seems to excite a lot of interest. And I think it was interesting how he emerged so much in the vice presidential discussion. The I mean, I think he's a good age. He's young. He's charismatic. He's a good speaker. He comes across well to most people. On the other hand, I think being from Kentucky is somewhat of a disadvantage. We are a small state, very few electoral votes, and I think that's going to be a drawback to him. On the other hand, what I think is really important is he is a Democrat who can win in one of the reddest states there is. And he has won, frankly, increased his margin of victory from the first election to the second. His approval ratings are extremely high. I hope he's a serious candidate. I think he'd do. I think he'd be a good candidate. I think he'd do a good job, and I think he'd be more of a centrist that the Democrats really need.
It seemed after he was elected the first time that his circle tightened up. It was very hard to communicate with his group. The Republican side of the state house has said as much, and I don't blame him for that. Do you feel that he is at a point now where if he doesn't open up the people around him and get a national team in place that he's not going to have a chance because it seems like he has still has that local team running things.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think his team is very Kentucky center, which for as your governor, that's what you want. But if you're going to branch beyond that, you need something that has more that can get you more of the national exposure, more national publicity. I mean, because he's extremely well known and overall very popular in Kentucky and probably our surrounding states. But I think once you get out of our general region, he's probably not as well known, and he needs to build that profile. And I think that's going to take a national team to do.
Do you think that the missteps or what some would just view as popular action during COVID, the lockdowns, do you think that will have a bearing on his chances?
I think the far right will hate that no matter what. I think most people looking at it, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I think most people looking at it are going to say he was trying to save lives, and you have to give credit for that. I mean, to me, I think he did make some missteps during this, and I think some of those could come back against him at times. But I think the people that are going to be most harsh about that would probably never have supported him anyway. But certainly, I mean, as I looked at that situation, there were times he did things I thought, well, I don't quite agree with that. But I also felt like we were dealing with an unprecedented situation, and nobody quite knew what to do. And in light of that, overall, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I think for most people, they at least gave him credit for the proper motives, even if he didn't always get it right.